All right, welcome everyone. Um, that's right. Just before we get started and do our introductions, just a brief overview. I know most of you have had a lot of Zoom classes up until this point, so you probably know this better than me, but just some basic Zoom etiquette. Like, once again, the session is being recorded, so please keep that in mind in terms of whether you want your camera on or off. Make sure if you're joining us that you're in a safe space. Please do not drive while attending and participating. We will record this, so you'll have an opportunity to hear. Please mute your microphone. Uh, Again, if your camera is on, be mindful of your background. Try to limit distractions, and I'm going to try to limit distractions myself. Feel free to use the chat to ask questions, and hopefully one of us will be able to answer. And again, I apologize. Usually I mute when my dogs bark, but that might not be possible this time. And again, we will answer questions at the end of the session. Just kind of briefly, my name is Jennifer Elkins. I am the MSW Program Director. And Constance, would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Constance Smith. I am the coordinator for the MSW program at the Gwinnett campus.
Hi, I'm Allison Haynes, and I'm the Admissions and Recruitment Coordinator. I am the one who's been emailing you and possibly have already talked to some of you, so welcome.
I'm Lee Phillips. I'm clinical faculty and the MSW online coordinator.
All right. So we're going to jump right in. Just the first is just to give you an overview of rankings and where we are as the School of Social Work nationally. So some people find this more important than others. However, in terms of public universities, we are ranked number 20 out of all public university schools of and we're also ranked 15th in the nation in terms of best values. And for our MSW program rankings, our MSW program is ranked in the top 10th percentile for schools of social work. And in particular, we are, if you just look at public institutions, in the top 10. So the School of Social Work this is really important, although you might not understand or care about the details, but we are accredited by the Council on Social Work Education. This is what allows your MSW degree to mean something and for you to be able to be licensed. And we also, of course, follow the NASW Code of Ethics. So some of you may still be trying to figure out, is social work the right career for me? What is social work? So social workers work in every single possible setting you can possibly imagine, not just the veteran affairs and schools and healthcare settings and criminal justice settings and mental health agencies and nonprofits, private practice, libraries, you name it. One of the cool things about social work, one of the things that I love most is that you wear many hats. If you want to be a therapist, you can be a therapist. In fact, the single largest degree for mental health professionals in this country, the most common is an MSW degree. We're the largest number of mental health professionals in the country. Social workers also are community practitioners who do community organizing and policy advocacy, policy practice, social advocacy, nonprofit management and administration, and also consultation, and dozens of other hats that are available. There's many pathways that you could choose. And I'll just encourage my colleagues, if you want to add anything at any point, feel free to chime in. So I know that we're in a current professional job climate where things are uncertain, and one of the benefits of social work as a career is that the employment of social workers has been steadily projected to grow over the next decade. And it is typically growing at a faster rate than average for all occupations. Now, some of you might have a bachelor's in social work degree, or other degrees, and a master's degree in social work. Another reason to pursue a master's degree is that it does lead to a higher salary. And most schools of social work, and in particular our school, helps prepare you to become a licensed master social worker or a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Georgia. Now, in the School of Social Work, we have a faculty, both clinical faculty and tenure track faculty with a range of research and practice expertise in a wide group of areas. So this is just an overview graphic to give you a sense of the various different areas that our faculty have expertise in child and family well-being, and civil rights and social justice, and community health and community well-being, in culturally informed practice, in health and behavioral health, in human trafficking and human rights, in social and economic policy, and in trauma and violence.
I will jump in on this one just because I know
Sure.
as faculty members, y'all cannot toot your own horns, but one of the things that the students tell me is they just really love how the faculty are so engaging, and they're bringing this real world working experience, real world research experience into the classroom, but are also like very engaging with the students. So it's great because it's like we have this research, but we also have the practice that goes along with each of these areas that's in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things I love, and obviously I'm a little biased, about social work is that you're always learning while doing. Whether you're an MSW student taking classes and doing internships, or a social work professor who's doing research and teaching while also in the community rolling up your sleeves. So in the MSW program, about 5 years ago, we updated our curriculum and shifted to an overarching framework that serves as the foundation of our curriculum. And we also have a course on this. So we use the acronym PROCEED, which stands for an emphasis on power, oppression, social justice, evidence-informed practice, advocacy, and diversity. And you will see this playing out in a particular class, but also as infused through all of your classes. So let's talk a little bit more detail about our MSW program. So I can speak to our Athens program. Our Athens program is a full-time program. What this means is that you're getting 2 years of coursework and internships in a fairly intensive format. You have classes in the daytime from 8:30 a.m. to about 5:30 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And your internships will be on Thursday or Friday, or Thursday and Friday the first year. And your second year, your classes are on Mondays and Tuesdays, and your internship is Wednesday through Friday. In the Athens full-time program, you also have the option of choosing our micro track, which focuses more on direct practice and clinical practice, macro practice, which is more focused in on community organizing, nonprofit management, or policy practice. Or you can choose like an integrated combined, which is both micro and macro, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. We also have a Gwinnett extended time program that my colleague Constance Smith is going to speak to.
We have a part-time evening extended time program that is on the Gwinnett campus. So if you are in Georgia or familiar with Georgia or the metro area, you know about Gwinnett County. It is a large county that sits on the peripherals or suburban part of Atlanta. We are off 85 at Old Peachtree Road. Our campus is within a building. You cannot tell that it is a college program inside because it looks like a glass building on the outside, and it's very nice and it sits in a very nice area. But inside, once you're inside, and everyone is always surprised to see how UGA has been made into this campus. But that program is a part-time
Oop, sorry.
3 or 4 year option program in micro only. We do not have the macro or the combined, but we do have a micro specialization program for preparing you, as Dr. Elkins said, for the Georgia first level of license, the SW, as well as future LCSW. And we have many supportive tools in the environment, direct support. Actually, our online and our Gwinnett students share the same services. We have our own librarian who is also a resource support person who helps you with one-on-one with teaching you short workshops on research, as well as reviewing your papers with you as you come into grad school, particularly those who have been out of school for a while. He will help you with your writing. It's a lot of resources from the library that are available digitally, as well as books can be delivered to the campus for you. I'll turn that back over to our online person who is Dr. Phillips.
Hello again. I'm Dr. Phillips, online coordinator. And as you can see on the screen, our online program is similar to Gwinnett in terms of its extended time. So it takes 3 years to go through the program. It's structured in such a way that your first year, you're taking 3 classes each semester. As you move into your second year, that drops to 2 when you pick up your practicum. That initially starts with 8 hours and then moves to 16. And then in your third year, you take 1 class, and then you're in your concentration practicum, which is 20 hours a week. This is all asynchronous apart from your practicum experience. So the classes are asynchronous, and you are able to take this coursework from anywhere in the US. But when it comes practicum time, it's very clear that you need to understand that it has to happen in Georgia. So we are a land grant university. We are expected to provide services and contribute to the communities in Georgia. So we have lots of programs that do things like that at UGA. But this is also one of the ways that we do that by having the practicum take place in the state of Georgia. So if you are out of state and you're considering the program, just make sure you know that after that first year, you've got to get to Georgia so that you can start your practicum. It is just micro specialization, so we don't have a macro track or a meso track in the online program at the time. So it's micro specialization, more direct practice focus, clinical type focus, not as many of the larger community type courses and policy courses, although there are some of those as you go through a generalist program. And I already mentioned that in-state requirement, but I do want to reiterate that it is asynchronous. So you move through the modules on a week-to-week basis, kind of with your own pacing. That doesn't mean that the professors aren't engaged or interacting, but it is a different experience than being in the classroom. And sometimes people do think online is going to be easier. Don't fall for that trap. It's still very demanding, and in some ways, maybe more demanding than being in the classroom. But it does give you that luxury to sort of manage your schedule around family, around work, around the other things that are taking place so that you can move through your coursework without having to travel to the Gwinnett campus or travel to the Athens campus.
Thank you. The only thing I would add is even though the program is online, your internships are in person. Um, so, sorry, hang on. There we go. So we also have an advanced standing full-time program. So this is a pretty cool model. I was able to take advantage of it myself, of where if you are pursuing an undergraduate degree that includes a bachelor's in social work, you will have the ability to, and it's a BSW degree from a CSWE accredited school, and you're within the past 5 years, you will have the opportunity to apply for your MSW as an advanced standing student, which allows you to get your master's degree in 1 year or 3 semesters. In Athens, what this means is that you'll be starting in the summer in June and taking classes in the summer semester, as well as the fall and the spring. Your internship would start in the fall. Classes would be in the daytime, and you would have the same choices as our 2-year full-time students in terms of your specializations. We will have sessions for more detailed overview of practicum education and opportunity to ask questions. However, in many ways, I like to think of, and we like to think of practicum education as the heart of social work education. It's what makes, in particular, our training unique from a lot of other professions. Your internship experiences are often the glue that blends your classroom learning and real world experiences. It makes everything real, and it really helps to maximize student growth. So it's a little bit of a baptism by fire, right? Like we like to learn while doing. So in your generalist year, your internship will be in your fall and spring semester. In your fall semester, it's about 8 hours a week. And then your spring semester, it's 16 hours a week or 2 days a week. And your specialization year, it is 20 hours a week or 2.5 to 3 days a week. And once again, your internship will be in person, regardless of which campus you're in, and within the state of Georgia, for the most part.
And Dr. Elkins, I know that
Yes.
we'll have separate sessions where our practicum director will be available. We're going to have an Ask Me Anything, but we do get a lot of questions about this. So we do have a practicum office that will give you an
Oh, right.
extensive application.
Mhm.
You're going to fill out the experience you've had, the experience that you're looking for. The generalist year will be an overview of social work, and the specialization year is to tap into like, what do you really want to do when you graduate?
Yep.
We have partnerships with over 500 agencies across the state, and we don't have you find your own. Like they're going to match you with one of those
Right.
based on how you need to round out your resume and also the experiences you're looking for. And they will go over this process with you. But I just want to
Yeah.
assure you that, like, I know there are schools out there that make you go find your own placements. That's not happening.
No, we don't do that.
We have during the generalist year, you're going to have a class that goes along with it to support you as well. But so for the full-time program, you start, of course, in your generalist year in the fall of that first year. If you're in the online or Gwinnett program, you start your practicum internship during your second year. So the first year of our extended time programs is just classes. And so again, you'll have more information going forward, but that was just to just let you know how the process works a little bit.
Thank you.
Oh, and I was going to also say for the advanced standing, you just jumped straight into the specialization year because you've basically taken care of your journalist year as a BSW.
Yep. So on the Athens campus and really on all the campuses, there's a varying array of services and support opportunities and also facilities and things for you to take advantage of. So in Athens, there is a fairly extensive student support network. In the campus, there's also in our school, we have some computer stations, and the university also has computer labs. In the School of Social Work, we have various different spaces for lounge space, just to kind of hang out in small groups. We have in our basement a micro market. So what that basically is apologies, is in the basement, just a little self-service grocery store. So if you're hungry and need a snack, if you're thirsty, and for students who need it, we do have housing that's available on campus for graduate students, as well as other student facilities. Like there's a health center, there's a gym, there's a student center that has like the movies and various different games and activities, just like a regular college campus. Not sure if the next slide, yes, talks about what facilities and supports are available on the Gwinnett campus.
Sure. Our Gwinnett campus is actually a great campus. I think, of course, it's the best campus between all, except for, Athens has more buildings, but we have all of the support services that students need on our campus. I already talked about, as you see in this picture here, that is our librarian or resource support, Mr. C. Exactly what he's doing there in that picture. He does one-on-one support. Now he does a lot of support by Zoom as well, because students work during the day or they do not live near campus. So he does a lot of support by for writing, for helping you to work through assignments. Sometimes students are challenged with assignments and need more time or may need to work on it a little bit differently. So he has all of the support services there for you. We refer you out for any other services you may need, because we have student care and outreach services for all campuses, where students, when you get into a situation where if you need something more that's outside of our educational realm, we have, again, his library services. As far as computer labs, there are computer labs, but what we do in all of our campuses, we haven't done so much for online, but mainly for Gwinnett and Athens, we do have a computer loaner program. So that is available for you students, say if you are not able to buy your own, because we know financial aid is different nowadays, or you may not, your computer crashes and you need a computer to help you. We have both Apple and Dell computers, so we have those as well. We have study rooms, which are wonderful spaces. Also, one of the things that we have for students, not just the study rooms, there's spaces, just like they have the micro market. We have our own vending area, as well as we do coffee and culture a couple of days a week, where we offer you free coffee, tea, hot chocolate, snacks. They may have a coloring day. We have a chair massage day. We have a masseuse. We have jazz artists and various musical artists that come on campus. That happens a couple of days a week before class. Also, healthy habits, things like I said, a massage. And we have the open area where it's like, it's almost like a restaurant, where we have booths, and we also have high top tables. We have some spaces that are just cozy areas. We also have learning pods where you can go in a quiet room, or you can reserve a room. So there are lots of features on the Gwinnett campus to support the student lifestyle. You're not just there with Gwinnett students, you're also there with students from other programs. So you will get to meet other professionals. Education has several programs on our campus. Public health does. So again, you will be meeting and engaging with other graduate students and other professionals who may be attending a community event or training on campus. Free parking is available, so there's no requirement for a parking pass. You can park wherever there's a space. If you need accessibility support, they're all across the front on both sides of the building are mobility spaces. So those are things that we offer, as well as you have academic advisement on all of our campuses, but in Gwinnett as well as Athens, you will have someone you can also meet with virtually or in person, depending on your need. Again, I could go on and on about Gwinnett, but let me pass it on.
For hang on, sorry, I'm just admitting, for our online campus, we don't have as many, obviously, in-person events, but we do have the same student support services that are available on the other two campuses, as well as specific online campus supports. And, to me, I think another thing to keep in mind that I take pride in is that you're getting the same faculty who are teaching in the classrooms are the ones who created these courses, online courses, and are teaching these online courses. It's not a different curriculum. And of course, you also have the benefit of learning in your home environment whenever is convenient for you. And so for some of you, you may be working all day, taking care of family, and then like at 10 p.m. or midnight or 3 a.m., you'll be able to, hop online and do some of your coursework. So that's definitely a benefit. I don't know if Constance or Lee, if either of you would like to chime in on anything additional that I might have forgotten.
I'll just say that Constance mentioned Charles Chrisman, the librarian in Gwinnett. He really is a gem to have, and he is more than happy to work with the online students as well. He has recordings for things like APA formatting, finding research articles, things like that, but is equally willing to set up a Zoom interaction with online students as he is to sit down with some in person. So we definitely still have support services. A lot of the stuff on Athens campus can still be available to you. So even though you're at home off doing your own work, that doesn't mean that there aren't available resources and people ready to support you on your academic journey.
And I'll just add, Mr. C is available on the weekends. So that works great for Gwinnett and online students.
And sometimes I have online students ask me, like, can I come to the campuses? Yes, like if you want to come to the library at either campus, if you want to come to,
Yeah.
the School of Social Work events at either campus, you're more than welcome to attend, no matter which campus you're on.
That is true. The only caveat I will add is that in Athens, if you come, you will need to be careful about parking because it's not free.
If it's a daytime
Unfortunately.
event, be careful about parking.
Yeah, especially on game day.
Yeah, you just can't come here on game day. We're not going to have an event on those days.
No worries. So just a little bit more detail in case folks aren't sure what we mean when we say micro, macro, and combined practice. Once again, micro practice is what a lot of people think of when they think of your classic social worker. We're mostly intervening at the individual, family, and group level. It can involve counseling and therapy, client advocacy, case management, education, and resource development. Macro practice focuses in more on things at the both the group and the community and the kind of larger social system level. So these are the folks who are designing services, developing resources, negotiating between organizations and agencies. You're running things, you're developing policy, advocating for policy, writing policy, and you're doing program evaluations. And that also leaves off, once again, some of you might be doing community organizing and community level change and neighborhood level change efforts. And again, if you want to do everything, Athens is your program, and our combined track allows you to do everything. So that is a good option for people who are thinking that they might want to do macro practice, but you're not sure and you want to still be able to get licensure to do individual practice as well.
And this is on the application, they just changed them this year to where you have to choose your specialization along with your campus. If you choose the Athens campus, it's going to give you all of these options on the application. We'll talk about the application more lately. But I just want to point out, which I'll probably say again, You have to know when you submit your application which campus you're coming to. You cannot change your campus after you're accepted, but your specialization can change after you're accepted if you're on the Athens campus. So if you're in Gwinnett, you're not moving. If you're in online, you're not moving. You're going to stay at that campus. But for the Athens campus students, you can, with your advisor, after you're accepted during your first year, change which specialization you're in.
I mean, more like the first semester-ish.
Was first semester.
Yeah. Okay. Now on for the bonus things. So, the School of Social Work in the university also offers multiple certificate options. Typically, what this means is that, we allow about 4 electives in your MSW degree, no matter what campus you're in. Certificates are an opportunity for you to specialize in particular areas and skew your electives, most of your electives, towards these particular certificate areas. So there is an option for nonprofit management and leadership certificate. I know that a lot of people think if you're macro practice, this is a good certificate. But in actuality, if you are micro practice and you have a certificate in nonprofit management and leadership, that makes you extraordinarily competitive, and it sets you up for being able to open a private practice someday, for example, or run a nonprofit. We also have a certificate in substance use counseling. And what this certificate sets you up for achieving the educational requirements for state certification as an alcohol and drug counselor. We have a gerontology certificate. Now, this certificate is online. So, in particular, we also, just as a backtracking, the substance use counseling certificate and the nonprofit certificate are all available both on all 3 campuses. We have a couple other certificates that students can pursue. That they include a disability studies certificate, a global health certificate, and a sustainability certificate. I don't know if some of these 3 certificates, if you're interested in these last 3 certificates, you'll want to reach out to advisors as soon as possible, because in some cases, some of these certificates require extra classes. So in addition to a certificate, we have a couple options for dual degrees where you can pursue 2, an MSW and a JD, where if you're interested in law and social work, an MSW and an MPH, where you will be interested in both public health and social work interface. Both of these degrees, the MSW JD and the MSW MPH, require you to apply separately and get accepted into both programs. We have literally just rolled out this year, we're still fine-tuning the details, a new dual degree between with your MSW and an MBA with our business school. I'm still unsure of the details of this, actually.
So new. It's so new. If you're interested in it, yes, all of our dual degree options are only available, someone just asked, on the Athens campus full-time program. So you have to, again, apply to both programs. The JD program does have, what's the law test called? You have a standardized test you have to take for that one. Yeah, and I believe MPH does require GRE. They all have their own admissions requirements that are separate from ours. If you're interested in them, you can look on that website and you can email me. And I can connect you with more information.
And I'll say for now, the same is true for the MSW MBA, because it's new enough. We're still, I think, ironing out the details of what that admissions process is going to look like.
Yes, you still have to apply to the
Dr.
MBA
Elkins,
program.
do we
Mhm.
still have the MSW MDiv
No.
as an option? No.
That
Okay.
has been discontinued.
All right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It was too hard because it was at Emory. It was too hard to verify who had taken which classes.
Yeah, some of the university system of Georgia things changed and
Yeah.
didn't and made it more difficult to allow inter-university degrees. Um, all right. We have some study away, travel abroad is another way of thinking of it. Opportunities that are available. I believe they are available to all students on all three campuses. And these are summer programs. In some cases, they are summer session, which means they happen like in May in a like a 2 week one, and they vary from like 1, 2 to 3 weeks. The ones that are sponsored and run by the School of Social Work with social work faculty leading are in Northern Ireland, the Caribbean, which is a new one that's rolling out. And we also, I think in the next year or two, are going to be having a new study away opportunity in South Korea as well. There are also other study away opportunities at the university that other departments sponsor that you can take advantage of. We've had a couple students do like Morocco study away, Cuba study away, and things like that. There is an application process. This is not something you can apply for, but until you've been accepted and you've started, and there will be info sessions, and it is competitive to apply to these because as you can imagine, they're all pretty popular. When you do these study away opportunities, it will count towards 1 to 2 electives.
Well, I'll just say that with the study away options, our students at all campuses, Gwinnett, Online, Athens, they all participate. It's a great opportunity to go and see social work in a different space. It is 6 hours credit towards your electives. So if you are wanting to do two study aways, if they're running at different times, you may, but in 2 different summers, not the same summer. But that would also mean that would take up all of your required elective time. But if you're looking to do any certificates, that would not be the answer. So that's one thing I will say. But you can do both a certificate, but you would have to expect to go the next part of the summer semester in June through to August 1st in order to complete the electives that you would need. But again, just want to encourage you to think about our study away opportunities and apply early and soon once you get accepted and start your first year in our program.
Professor Woodensmith, someone asked if there's any financial aid support for the study away. Aren't there some sort of scholarships
There
that don't
is, but
cover everything?
there's,
No,
I would not count on that, to be
no,
frank.
they're small.
It's a very small amount, and it's even more competitive than the study away opportunity itself. Unfortunately. The only thing I'll add is that every study away has a theme, right? So in addition to considering where you want to go, you want to think about and take a look at the pages to get a sense of okay, well, is the focus of this study away of interest to me? Okay.
Because there are assignments that go with the study away. So it's not like you're just
Yeah,
going on a
class.
trip. You have assignments that go with it. So you
Yep.
would be writing a paper. And so what does the cost of study away typically average? I'll leave it up to Dr. Elkins. I haven't seen the budget in a while.
I think that I am not sure, so I'm not going to say. It is typically 3 figures. We try to make it below 5,000.
They do have
What-
info sessions for them, and they have the contact information on the study away page if I
I'll say
believe.
that, it's a unique opportunity, but we're mindful that students have limited resources. So we would not be running a program that's like $8,000. No, I'm not saying 10,000, but with the understanding that even if the study away programs are 2,000 and 3,000, that's still a fairly significant amount, and it might not be feasible or realistic for some folks. So it's definitely not like a required thing. It's just a bonus for people who have the ability and the means. All right, we're going to shift gears and for the nuances of the application process and funding.
So I can go over this part
Awesome, thank you.
unless I start coughing. So then you can check it. So the graduate school application includes your unofficial transcript. You will not need to submit your official transcript until after you're accepted. 3 letters of recommendation. The website says 1 should be from professors. If you've recently graduated as an undergraduate, at least 2 should be from professors. I know some people have been out of school quite a while when they come to us, and if it's not possible to get one from a professor that you had years and years ago, first of all, do reach out if they're still working there and like remind them who you are, what classes you had with them, what you're doing. Yeah. Like it's okay to reach out to them even if it was a long time ago. But if it's not possible for you to do that, then try to get someone who can speak to your academic abilities. Like if you've had to write a lot of reports at work, for example, if you've done anything or if it's someone who has a degree who could speak to the fact that you would be okay in grad school. Do not use personal, like family members or friends. Use something more professional or academic context. Your narrative statement, there are very specific instructions online for that, and that's important. I think I have a whole other slide about tips, but I'm just going to go ahead and say, like, this is a 2-in-1. It's both a writing sample and a kind of an interview for your motivations. So you're going to want to pay special attention to every part of the application, but especially your narrative statement. Okay. Your resume or CV, include all work experience, especially highlight work experience related to social service, if volunteering, clubs, things you've done in the community, any trainings you've attended, projects, community projects you've been a part of. And then we do not require the GRE tip for entrance. If you've already taken it for another program and have a great score, you can submit it. If you have a GPA below the guidelines listed, you can take the GRE to show academic promise if you have a good score on it. Most people do not submit a GRE for the MSW application, and that's fine. It does not count against you not to have it. Our GPA guidelines for our advanced standing program are 3.2, and all other MSW programs are 3.0. But our admissions committee does take a holistic approach. And so if you have years and years of social service experience and your GPA is 2.8, but you have strong letters of recommendation, everything else is great, it is possible to get in with below a 3.0. So if you're in doubt, apply. And if you want to talk to me about ways to show that you're still a great student, you can chat with me about that. But those are the standard guidelines. For our online program, we are a little bit more strict with the 3.0 because that is a little bit more self-directed, and we want to make sure that you're able to complete the online work without as many in-person supports available to you.
Can I chime in just briefly with the letters of recommendation? If you don't have, if you're unable to get professors to speak to your academic potential and other non-professors, you can, if you have supervisors who you've worked with, volunteered with, who can speak to your strengths as a social worker and in social services, that would also be really strong. And kind of personally, if I have a low GPA but I have a professor who is willing to speak to how that GPA doesn't reflect my strengths and this is what I saw in a class, that's a very strong letter. So think about that when you when you approach professors in particular and what you want to ask them for. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, right. I forgot I'm the one who controlling the
can't-
slides. Okay.
So the last part of the graduate school application is the application fee. This is not assessed by the School of Social Work. This is assessed by the graduate school. So it's $75 for the first application. If you apply to multiple programs or you apply like 2 years in a row, it's $25 for each additional application. So they're not considered complete until the fee is received. There's limited application waivers available for military. Well, the military veterans, they always get the application fee waiver. It's just you have to upload some documentation into the portal to show that you meet the criteria. And then there's some for students in UGA partner institutions. There's 6 institutions we partner with, their HBCUs. So if you think you're in that category, email me. Priority deadline is January 9th, 2026. Then we do have a later deadline in March. I did have someone put on their reply form. They were asking, should I apply by priority or the later deadline? If you can apply by the priority deadline, do so. Because if you're an international student, you must apply by the priority deadline. Advanced standing students must apply by the priority deadline. All other students, it's like there's an extended deadline in March, but it's a first come, first serve basis. So if the program fills up in January, then they may not assess or review more applications in March. So I recommend you start your application now, because the first thing you're going to want to do is contact your people who are going to be your recommenders. Because if you wait until the holidays, sometimes those people are hard to get in touch with. So the reason you should start it now, even if you don't complete your part of it till closer to the deadline, is because you don't want something to happen to where your letters aren't in there and your application is considered incomplete. Let's see, the next slide has tips, and I don't know what ones I've already said, which ones I haven't. Yeah, so again, I was talking before about how you have to review and select your program first. First, you select the campus. You have to know that. If you choose the correct campus, it should only give you the options available on that campus. Advanced standing will choose summer semester. Everyone else chooses fall. We only have fall start date. I get asked that a lot. You cannot start in spring. You cannot start in summer if you're in the regular standing programs. The MSW admission website has those narrative statement guidelines. Have somebody review your statement. If you are a current student in a school or even alum, try the writing center at your school. Have a trusted individual review that statement. And then you'll start your application, and it's not like a one-time thing. Like, it's a process. So even after it's completed, you can check back in at the graduate application portal, which is like where you sign in to do the application, to see if there's any outstanding items. So if you're waiting for someone to submit a letter, you can see if they've submitted it. And then international applicants do have additional information that's due to the graduate school. And so there are links on where you do your application about those requirements that are from the grad school. I think that's all the tips, but if anyone has specific questions about the application as you're going through it, feel free to email me.
I'm just going to chime in and say, I know that there might be a temptation to use AI, but I promise you, we will be able to tell that you're using AI and that we care far more about what you really think, and your voice is what's truly important.
Yes. And then, so for the funding options, I'm going to get to your question, Mateus, after this. There are some School of Social Work funding opportunities. We have a whole recorded panel about this on our tuition and funding website. And all of these options are linked on that website as well. If one of you will pull it up and put it in the chat I don't know if I can do it and talk at the same time. Or I can do it after. The graduate assistantships are only available for the Athens campus. You can apply for it as an advanced standing or a full-time student, a 2-year program student, but they're only available. We're only allowed to offer them to full-time students, and that's why they're only available in Athens. It's not because of the campus, it's because your full-time status. That is a great way to fund your education. The assistantship is basically like a scholarship program to where you're assigned to a faculty member to work 13 hours a week. Your tuition is waived except $25, and you receive a stipend. So you're assigned to a school of social work faculty or staff member. So if you are applying to the Athens campus, apply for an assistantship. I mean, it doesn't hurt to apply. Applications are also due on January 9th. And this, I believe, might be one of the few funding options that's available to international students as well. They vary about how many we have each year, and we don't know yet how many we're going to have for this coming year. So they're very, very competitive. So apply for it, but it's not guaranteed that you get it when you apply. The
Can I
funded
just give
training.
a brief shout out though, that I want to make sure, don't assume that you're not going to be competitive for it. So in particular, if you're a first generation student, if you're the first in your family to go to college, apply for these assistantships. Don't discount yourself.
Thank you.
That's all.
And then the funded training programs are, so the Title IV Child Welfare Education Program, that one is open to all campuses. This is through the Department of Family and Children's Services. It's a federal program to where for every year they fund your education, you agree to both intern at Department of Family and Children's Services in Georgia and work there for each year they have funded. It is a very strong work requirement. It's not optional that you work there when you graduate. This is if you think you're going to work with children or families at all, even if you don't think you're going to maybe long-term stay at DFACS, it's a great foundation for knowing what your clients who are involved in the system are experiencing. That has a separate application. If you're currently working at DFACS, the deadline for that is earlier, but it's not until this coming spring if you're not yet working at DFACS. The DBHDD, Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities program, is similar to the Title IV in that you will intern there and you have a work requirement, but it's only available for your specialization year. So advanced standing, you can apply for it, but the other students would wait to apply to it until they're ready to go into their specialization year. We have some scholarships at the School of Social Work, but they are not like fully tuition funding scholarships. They're $500 to $1,000 maybe, sometimes a little more. You should apply for them, but they don't even open for you until you're a current student here. So if you are taking classes, like if you're in the MSW program and are coming to advanced standing, you can apply for them, but otherwise you would wait till you're accepted and apply to them during the fall semester. And then,
and just briefly, every people on all campuses are eligible for the school social work scholarships.
The scholarships, yes, and the DBHDD program, yes. Everyone's eligible for those. The DBHDD one's great. It's a behavioral health. So like if you think you want to become licensed after you graduate, that one, when you're working there, they already help you start gaining those supervision hours for that year that you're working there post-grad. So I think that's a great option for that reason. I'm going to pop this in the chat with the tuition and funding. So there might be scholarships through the graduate school or through, there's a UGA scholarship universe that's linked on our website. If you seek outside scholarships, just make sure they're reputable. I didn't mention before, but if you seek assistantships outside of the School of Social Work department, you need to make sure they will be compatible with your rigorous academic and internship requirements here, because you don't have a lot of time to be working outside of the department. Student loans, of course. There's a new loan forgiveness program within the state of Georgia because we have such need for behavioral and mental health workers in the state of Georgia. The governor's office has this behavioral health program, service cancelable loan program, BHPSCL, that's a mouthful. This is a new program. So it is after you receive your licensure, and you work for a year in a behavioral health setting, then there is loan forgiveness. So it could take 3 or more years to receive your supervision to take the licensure exam. Then you take the licensure exam, and then you're working in behavioral health setting. So it's not like a year post-grad. It's just a year of working in behavioral health in Georgia after you have become licensed. But it's still a lot less than the 10-year federal program I had to do. So it's might as well apply for it. That is external to us. That's through a separate website. And then if you're an out-of-state student, there's a Regents out-of-state tuition waiver. There are a limited number of students we can submit to the graduate school for this. And if you apply for an assistantship and you're an out-of-state student and you don't make the list because we don't have enough to go to everyone, we automatically submit you for this Roost waiver. So just like reach out to me to make sure you're on that list to the grad school if that applies to you.
But I do want to highlight, it's a very small number that we're allowed.
Yeah, it's like 3, I think. 3 Roost
Yeah, it's like
waivers
3 or 4 people, unfortunately.
And we usually have like 8 we want to give it to, and only 3 get it. But we do have low tuition rates in the state of Georgia compared to a lot of other states, period. Even for out of state, sometimes it can be more affordable than people realize.
Our
But again,
out-of-state tuition is lower than the in-state tuition of many of the other programs. Sorry about the barking.
So, yes, and there, like I said, there's a whole recorded panel at the bottom of this website that I just put in the chat. There's a link to each of these options and a recorded funding panel there. So, for more information, of course, look at our website. And then this is our contact info. We're going to take some time now to answer questions, but if you wanted to take a screenshot or jot down our contact info, you're welcome to do so. I did have a question that I said I was coming back to. How many students are accepted into each cohort program on average, and how many applicants are there? Well, how many applicants there are varies per year, which determines like the percentage that are accepted. So it depends on how many apply to the program, what percentage, but we do have a high acceptance rate for our MSW program. I think it's, and it can vary per program. So our online program has been wildly popular, and we've had, just this past year, we increased our numbers of classes that we had in that so we could accept more students. And I think we're going to be doing the same this year. So we accepted 90 in the online program, up to 50 in Gwinnett, and then up to like 100-ish in Athens. But even when we accept that many, your class sizes will be 25. So like if we accept 100 people in Athens, you're still only going to have 25 people in each section of like classroom with you. Does that make sense? But I think like high 80s, low 90s for all of our programs, it would be the acceptance rate. I don't have an exact number, but it's pretty high. If we get accepted into one campus, can we switch? No. You can never switch. You cannot switch campuses. You have to stay at the campus you're accepted to. Yes, you can use your GI Bill for the program. We have a lot of veterans that use their GI Bill for our programs. Somebody asked about an application fee payment or waiver. We might have depending on which programs you're in. Email me if you're a domestic student, we currently don't have any funding for international application fee waivers, but there are some programs that the grad school has for some domestic ones. So email me if you want to ask about that. I'll put my email in the chat. Any other questions that I missed?
But the like participating in this webinar, it has no impact on application fees, which is what I think one of the questions was.
No, just no.
Mm-mm.
But there might be other things that impact it. So email me to ask if, and I can ask you some questions to see if you would be eligible for other reasons.
I want to be mindful of folks' time, and it's a little bit over 5:30, or is this till 6:30 or 7? Okay.
I don't remember what I advertised. I put on my calendar till 7. What did I
Oh,
tell
okay.
you all? I don't know.
Any additional questions that folks may
Tell me
have
what I
for
told
us? Feel free to throw it in the chat, or if you're feeling brave,
Oh, yeah.
unmute.
You can unmute to ask questions as well.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
We
Yes.
can.
Yes, hi. Good evening. My name is Talia. My question was, what is it like to have an assistantship, or like, what are the students' experiences that are first generation?
So we are going to have a panel in a week or two that's going to be speaking specifically to the experience of being first generation. I'm really excited about it because it's going to be faculty who are first generation or were first generation students themselves talking more about this. The assistantship will vary depending on whom you got assigned to in the School of Social Work. For some, you will be rolling up your sleeves and helping them out with their research and their scholarship. For others, you might be assisting them with like tasks, like like teaching related tasks and things like that. I can't remember how many hours a week it is. It's like 13 hours a week. Often you can do it from home virtually. What I'll say the benefit of having your assistantship in the School of Social Work is that we almost always want you to prioritize your education. That comes first. So things will be flexible. You won't be doing necessarily 13 hours every single week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You can, I did not say this when going over the application, you can only apply to one program. You can't apply to Gwinnett and Athens and see which one you get into. You can only apply to one program. And then if you're choosing Athens, you have to choose a specialization. You can't pick more than one specialization, but that's the thing that can change. So you asked, could you do macro combined and micro? No, but if you start during that first semester in combined, but you decide to go to micro, you can talk to your advisor about switching if you're an Athens student from one to the other. So you can only apply to one campus. You can only apply to one specialization. Your campus cannot change, but your specialization may be able to change during your first semester. Is that clear? Precious, your questions, can recommendations from field instructors during internship be considered for the application, even if so you're saying you had internships as you're in your social work program in another country? Yes, you can absolutely use your field instructors as a letter of recommendation. You're just not eligible to apply for the advanced standing program if you weren't accredited. But yes, if you worked for an organization that was a social services organization, or if your professors were in a program that wasn't accredited, you can use them for your letters of recommendation on the application. Yes, you can. No, they don't look at somebody asked if there's limited amounts of spots per specialization. No, the faculty committee is not looking at the specialization as far as a determination of who to accept. There's just the blanket number, like our targets to accept 100 for Athens, and they're not looking at breaking that down per specialization for our acceptance numbers. Yes, for the first gen, if you just literally Google first gen dogs or first gen UGA, there's a whole website for first generation resources at UGA. And they do have resources. The graduate school also, for all students, they have wellness resources for graduate students. They have like self-care sessions, study skill sessions. A lot of them are virtual. So another question was, could you come to campus if you're an online student? Yes, you can come to campus if you're an online student. For the
Do you mean to
cost,
use
you
for
have,
resources, or what did they mean by that? I guess is the question. To
oh,
me,
I
to
guess,
use it,
yeah,
what do you mean,
which campus?
classes or resources?
For
Yeah,
example,
you can't come to class on the campus.
could you get a Ramsey membership as an online student?
I don't know.
Unfortunately, my understanding is that one of the things the online students don't have to pay is the student activities fee, which is fairly high. So as a result, the Gwinnett students and the online students have less access to than what the Athens students have. Gwinnett students pay a smaller activities fee, which is what allows them to have the services that are provided. So there are some things you can take advantage of, but probably not
I
as
think
much
the
as others.
graduate students have to pay to go to Ramsey, though. I don't think it's free, even for our grad students.
That's
I'm not
true.
sure.
That's true. Like I said, I'm not sure of the
Yeah.
details of what is and isn't included, but so I'd have to look into that.
You can get a student ID card through
Mhm.
the main campus, or either through coming to or getting in touch with Shayla Appleby on the Gwinnett campus. So if you want an ID card, you can do that, because they do cost. They're not free. You can get those, but if you're looking to use it for other resources on main campus, you would not, like, unless you had to pay for that, such as if Ramsey has a membership fee, you could purchase it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about the programs or the application process or the practicum? I did share in the chat, the other info sessions are on our admissions website. You scroll down to where it says info sessions, and if you wanted to come to the first gen info session, we're also having a social work directors ask me anything, and our Dr. Elkins will be there again, as well as our practicum director and our director for the nonprofit management leadership program. And that's like an informal ask me anything you want. So we're imagining we'll get a lot of practicum questions on that one. And then in the future, we'll do some more like student panels or alum panels and things like that. Those haven't been scheduled yet, but they may be scheduled in the future. Or we may have a specific events for accepted students as well. But I'm here to answer any application questions. I get a lot of questions about referencing. Use the APA format on your narrative essay. Do use 2 scholarly references. The faculty committee just basically wants to see that you can do some research and find those scholarly articles, and also use the APA format correctly to cite them. But people ask me, well, what? I mean, like, this is personal questions. What am I supposed to cite? And so I usually recommend, if you're talking about like the population you want to work with, then you can cite a scholarly article about that. So for example, if you say, I want to work with, Spanish speaking clients, then you can cite an article about treatment modalities, or I don't know, an example, a good example, but just whatever you're already talking about, find a scholarly article to go with it. Any other questions? We're about to wrap up. Are there electives in the programs that stand out or that are unique to UGA? Well, some of the electives go along with the certificate programs that are available, so the substance use and nonprofit electives, but we also have a sports social work elective, I think that's popular. We have military social work. We have a sex therapy class that's really popular, trauma-informed care. I don't remember the name of the class, Dr. Elkins, but the trauma electives are very popular. Professor Winsmith and Dr. Elkins, y'all know more about which electives are offered, so you can.
We have a lot of our clinical electives are popular, right? We have a couples therapy, we have 2 trauma electives, 2 substance use electives. We have a clinical practice with children and adolescents that's popular. We offer a clinical practice with African Americans, with LGBT populations. The challenge here in answering that question is everyone has their own unique lens of what they find distinct and interesting, right? So we have global social work classes, we have social work classes with immigrant and refugee populations. There's a wide range.
The decision timeframe for the application process, if you apply and have a complete application by January the 9th, you should receive a decision by March 15th at the latest. Hopefully it'll be before then, but we tell you March 15th to give a cushion, make sure we can inform everyone.
Quick question.
Yes.
I was looking at the MSW application instructions for the narrative essay because I heard you state that we needed to include a scholarly source of some sort. How many of those are we supposed to include? I don't see that on here.
At least 2.
At least 2. Okay, thank you.
There aren't any further questions right now. Know that you can contact us afterwards via email, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. And you're also, of course, more than welcome to pop into any additional info sessions that will be much more interactive in particular.
And we do have a tour and question and answer session scheduled for Gwinnett under the info sessions as well. So if you're wanting to compare, that's another option for you to come in person and see the Gwinnett campus.
So I was going to say one thing. Apologize if you heard my dog barking. So I say this a lot. You're going to hear other professors say it. You are considering a very versatile degree. I mean, you heard Dr. Elkins talk about all the places where you find social workers, but it also gives us the ability to move around a lot. And that may not seem important as you're trying to figure out what you want to do. And you're like, oh, well, I want to work with people, so I know that. That's fine. But there are times even we get burnout doing certain types of services or working in certain types of settings, and other career paths, you could be kind of stuck having to do direct service or having to continue to do therapy, for example. And sometimes our own life makes us doing therapy difficult, or we may just need to step away. And the MSW is just so versatile. I mean, we can shift even away from direct practice and move into other areas of leadership or advocacy or policy work. And I have seen colleagues who have chosen that direct practice just was a bit much for them, and they were able to pivot into something else. And LPCs and some of those other programs where you get a master's in counseling or psychology and go for LPC, they have wonderful opportunities too, and there's some overlap, but we have a lot bigger range. And for example, I had to step away personally for a little while from doing therapy, and I was able to move into doing dialysis, nephrology, social work for a period of time. It served me greatly. I very much enjoyed it. but that's an area where it's required to have an MSW. So it's not even open to other types of disciplines. So if nothing else, as you're considering this program, I just really want you to hear that this is a very versatile degree that you would be investing in that opens lots of doors, gives you lots of opportunities, and you won't be stuck.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. I hope that Dr. Elkins was still recording when you said that because it was so well said. Well, thank you everyone for your time tonight. Thank you, Dr. Elkins and Dr. Phillips and Professor Wooden-Smith for your time especially and all your wisdom. And everyone have a good evening. And again, email us any follow-up questions.